and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Salted Grump, also known as Selnar, and I welcome you back to part 4 of my ongoing blind stream of Terminator Resistance. I want to thank everyone for showing up in advance, because, well, I know that I don't have a large viewer base, but I appreciate you all anyway. As usual, and as with the typical forewarning beforehand, my stream is on a single monitor system, so I do not really have eyes on the actual stream chat. When a co-commentator will pop up inevitably, I will have to ask them to just look through the chat and relay information to me as the case may be for any questions. Thank you for your patience and understanding, and I hope you enjoy the game. Last we left off at the end of part 3, which was a few days late actually, 4 days ago to be honest. I had just finished dealing with, a whole bunch of plot that basically boiled down to the fact that we are trying to make a push against Skynet Central Core, but need an IFF code that is most recently up to date in order to fully hack their weapons. So, with that in mind, we are currently in the downtown area trying to get the materials back that we need to get the hacking system up and running. Let us continue. Okay, and welcome back to the downtown area. We are currently in an explorable zone, and over here, behind this door, is an NPC named Eva, who is looking for a transmitter to replace her own broken transmitter. We actually started down over there, but as you can see, we did a little bit of a walkabout and ended up here. The California night is actually not quite as bad as it normally is. I guess it's because it's not on fire this time. So if you'll pardon my bad humor and general sassing of California, I hope you'll enjoy this, because, well, who doesn't like getting a good hearty laugh at a state that is, well, yeah. Anyway, that's the long and short of what I've been doing and what I have plans to do. The 2 yellow arrows on my mini-map are where I have to go for mission objectives, and actually let's just show off the main map itself. So this is our main map of the area. As you can see, we have our Lady Vengeance side quest here, and over here we have the 2 parts of the Codes side quest, which is our main objective. So while we could head north-ish and up into the main quest, instead we're going to go around and do the side quest. As you can see, we do have 3 side quests here. We have a neural net CPU, because Dr. Mack asked me to bring him a CPU from an infiltrator Terminator that we killed. We have the Hitman, which is Baron wants me to kill Mack after he hacks plasma rifle. This is something that I was spoiled on, but when it comes down to it, I am going to leave Mack alive for one reason. He is actually plot relevant to Terminator 2, even though he is never shown in the film. And Lady Vengeance, well, someone hiding in one of the downtown buildings. That far behind the Annihilation Line is the target, so let's see what we can do. We do have an inventory here with a reasonable amount of various weapons. Yes, I somehow forgot that these are red plasma weapons instead of purple, so they have only 96 rounds left in them. This one up here is a plasma minigun, which is pretty impressive in its own right, and down here we have a rail plasma, which is a sniper rifle. And over here we have a laser-guided rocket launcher. We somehow picked up some sticky bombs and some laser trip mines in the interim. We have 26 pipe bomb grenades, 10 can grenades, which are just, well, bigger pipe bombs. A whole bunch of craftable materials here that we can use for various crafting. 12 small medkits, 36 big medkits, which surprised me, and 43 lockpicks. There are mechanics in this game based around the idea of Bethesda lockpicking and all that sort of stuff. It's not badly thought out, but it's not well thought out either. For skills, as you can see, we have been going into maxing out our weapons skills, which gives us much more damage when using plasma weapons, and allows us to use purple plasma weapons for our maximum tier. Tier 4 makes it a faster reload, and Tier 3 is generally, well, just boosting damage all the way through. Stealth is kind of useful, mostly because of Stealth 2 temporarily marking enemies with weapon aim. Visual detection is not really a factor because at this point in the game you are essentially an absolute holy terror to fight because you can outdamage even your typical T-800. Moving 20% faster while crouching is nice for Stealth 3, but it's not mandatory. Explosives is just doing more damage with grenades and rockets, and being able to disarm either temporarily or permanently trip mines, and eventually subvert them for your own. Science is lockpicking, hacking, and crafting, all of which are important. Crafting 4 allows you the maximum crafting tier, but crafting 5 reduces the consumption by 50%. This is useful if you're crafting happy. And in survival, which I have maxed out, we have 3 backpack size boosts. Toughness, which increases our health by 50% by decreasing the damage you take and giving us full health regeneration. Normally you regenerate to about 25% of your maximum health bar. And Fast Learner is, well, just 30% more experience when fully maxed out. Our archives are main quests and side quests, as you can see here. We have not failed any quests yet. Notes are, well, as mentioned, they're notes. There is an achievement for finding 10 of them. We have found 25 out of the 35 in the game. And tutorials, which we can ignore because they're tutorials. So, as you can see, I am using Shift as my push-to-talk button for conversational options and all that, which also has the mildly unfortunate issue of also being the sprint button in this game. So if I start cursing under my breath because I am sprinting like a madman trying to evade something, you'll probably hear it. And here we have laser trip mines. As you can see, these are rather sneaky little fuckers. And, well, I already mentioned that I would be going the other way first, in no small part because of the fact that we still have to help that Lady Vengeance quest, which is to the south of us in the first place. So instead of heading northbound, let us continue going. As you can see, there's a reasonable amount of stuff you can find while exploring, like, for example, here we have resources, a lockpick, and some plasma cells, so let's grab those. Yoink! Trade resources are your currency in this game, and they tend to be, well, incredibly useful, but at the same time incredibly frustrating, depending upon just how much trade resources will cost you. Explosive canisters like this, you can shoot them to set them off, or in the case of a propane tank like this, a shot will send it flying, and then subsequently explode after the fact. It never hurts to absolutely loot the ever-loving crap out of everything you find, not just because of the fact that the crafting system in this game is, well, I wouldn't call it robust, but it's not bad, but it's also simply the fact that the exploration will allow you to gain more experience, because just about everything you do in this game gives you experience. That explosive barrel back there, for example, that canister, if I shoot it, well, I get 13 experience, but I got killed because it decided to fly in my face. So, I owe myself 10 push-ups when I'm done the stream. Let's restart from checkpoint. Okay, and I'm back at my save point. This game's checkpoint system is relatively lenient, but not too lenient. It has moments where it will punish you for something stupid, like what I just did. And to be fair, that was worth a good hearty chuckle anyway, so I'm not even mad. let's just go back and grab the loot that we grabbed the first time, and then continue on from where we left off. And as you can see there, we got plus 13 experience for that, just by blowing something up. It is completely non-essential, but at the same time, it is fun, and that's what counts to me. Because fun is never a bad thing. And I just missed this earlier, and oh look, lockpicking! So, lockpicking. Have you ever played Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Skyrim? Yeah, same basic idea. As you can see, there's usually a stockpile of trade resources in some areas, and trade resources are always useful to have because, well, there is actual trading in this game, so always collect as much as you possibly can. It never hurts to double check. As you can see, I picked up stuff that I missed last time before I got killed, and a large factor in that is quite simply the fact that the game is very well made, but it's also so dense with stuff that you will almost invariably miss something. Be that in, like, say, that refrigerator, which I just looted the hell out of. I only knew that it was openable because of the fact that the handle was glowing, and if I had not come into this area because it might have looked like an area that I didn't need to come into, I would not have actually found any of this loot, which is, well, kind of disappointing if you think about it, but this is a hell of a lot of loot when it comes down to it. Damn. I think I gained almost a couple hundred, maybe even 1,000 trade resources in this one area. So, this adds up really, really quickly. Oh, and let me show you some of the other features I have at the moment. I have a flashlight. Flashlights are useful for the obvious reason, and useless for the same reason. This game is ostensibly stealth-based, but when push comes to shove, when you have an overpowered weapon like I do, well, stealth no longer becomes a factor, so I can just leave it on if I want to all day, every day, and not care. Oh, this one has a hard lockpick. And yes, you can break lockpicks pretty easily. You'll notice that the lockpick itself is slightly jerky. This is an issue with the game itself. It is not my mouse having problems. As much as I like this game, it is very much a low-budget game at its heart, and therefore, well, it's got no small amount of jank to fight against. As you can see, we've only really explored this area here, and we have a ways to go before continuing onwards, but instead we're going to backtrack and loop from player here down over into here. Honestly, I am surprised that I have not found any enemies yet. Normally, the place like this would be absolutely crawling with various critters that want me dead. But, well, it's a Terminator game. Everything wants you dead in that, so... Anyway, this area is part of my previous sojourn into the downtown sector, which is, well, in the previous streams, so we won't have to talk too much about this. You will always want to take double check at the various cars and wreckage you can find, because, well, trunks are usually openable, and they usually have some good stuff in them. In most cases, you can find some variety of loot, but in more than a few cases, especially early on in the game, you can even find new weapons. For a while, I was packing a shotgun that I picked out of the trunk of a police car. And let's see what we have here. This looks like it was a restaurant, and we have an enemy nearby. Yep, that is a spider drone. And some T-800s, looks like. So, you can actually take photos of enemies. It's not really required, but, well, whatever makes people happy, right? So, what we want to do with this is we want to wait. Never mind, he's buggering off. The Pokemon Snap effect here is wholly optional. You'd never have to actually engage with it except in minor side quests. And honestly, you don't really need to bother even in that case, because, well, it's just not really worth it. So, let's just blow stuff up. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan, doesn't it? And that was a quick little firefight. As you can see, when you have a purple plasma weapon like this, which you can only really start using after character level 24, you are essentially a minor god of death and destruction in your own right. This is, well, for lack of a better term, I find it quite fun, because for a big part of the game, I was spending it essentially running my ass ragged, trying to, well, ambush and avoid getting shot at, because Terminators would absolutely ruin you. Also, early on in the game, while you do have access to handguns and similar other firearms, the Terminators, especially the T-800s and similar, like this nasty little beastie here, are essentially functionally immune to the, well, to typical firearms, like a shotgun or a rifle, which is, for the longest time, the only such weapon that you have, the only weapons you have. Explosives are still useful enough, but when push comes to shove, it's all just a matter of using what you have. And over here we have a hackable item. Hacking is Frogger. Everyone hates Frogger. We all know we hate Frogger, but hacking is Frogger. The dotted line, well, cross-hatched line that I'm on right now is a checkpoint, so if I get killed in the latter half of this hack, I just go back to this line instead of the very start. I have multiple attempts up at the top of the screen. It looks like I have 8 attempts to see if I can get through those last 4 lines. Hacking is a useful skill to get, especially mid-game and late-game when you actually need it. As you can see, there's a good pile of equipment and such in here. In this case, it's $81, a good pile of ammo, and 3 grenades. Yoink! And of course, explosions always make everything better, because you still get experience for explosions. So I'm not going to complain one bit about that. Another part of the game, of course, dumpster diving. Yes, I've heard all the jokes about it, but, well, in a world like Terminator, where Skynet is absolutely hell-bent on exterminating all of humanity, and in fact, the environmental storytelling of this little area kind of says it all, because a lot of these chassis were Skynet-owned spider bots, and they just absolutely went full fucking ham on this last stand here. Damn. Well, you can see that Skynet is, as much as I dislike admitting it, it's winning. Humanity is on its last legs, and the only reason why Skynet loses in canon is because of characters like John Connor, who think outside the box and throw Skynet for a loop. Skynet, while a reasonably intelligent AI, is still an AI that is networked, and so its remote units, like the T-800s and similar, are essentially drone-controlled units instead of independent units in their own right. The infiltrators that you later encounter, like in the movies themselves, are very much individuals in their own right, with full AI sapience, and that makes them far more dangerous and deadly to John Q. Public or Squishy Resistance member. And let's go see what's down here. So this Resistance fellow had a Resistance-made plasma rifle. It's nowhere near as good as the one we have, but at the end of the day, that's kind of expected. The Resistance is essentially running on scraps and prayer, while Skynet has things like automated factories and all that set up. And if we take a look at our map here, we'll see that we're very close to our Lady Vengeance side quest, so let's actually, take a poke at that, because we are getting close to it. So there appears to be a transmitter down here. Let's tip B and see what we can see. Nothing at all. So that's wholly acceptable. Okay, well, let's see what we have in here. More resources, chemical compounds, more resources. Loot out of my fucking ears, for lack of a better term or description. That's not necessarily a bad thing, mind, but it does suggest that we are getting close to the actual endgame of this. Some free lockpicks and extra plasma cells, that's never a bad sign. So let's just keep on keeping on. Over here we have a locked door, a hard pick requirement, or we can just hop right over here and see if we can snoop around. And oh look, a ventilation shaft. Ventilation shafts are pretty much your best friend for most of the game, because they allow you to find new things that are usually full of loot, and loot is never a bad thing. If you are not playing this game like you would play any other murder hobo simulator, for lack of a better description, you are probably playing this game wrong, because being a murder hobo is pretty much entirely what this game is made for. You are going to scavenge, you are going to steal, you want to try to be a decent person to your companions, but everything else is a robot and deserves to explode. And that's, well, wholly acceptable, isn't it? Anyway, let us continue scavenging, looting. Oh look, a transmitter. Yoing! And it's a trap, because, of course, Lady Vengeance is a fucking idiot. So let's see what this note has to say. Skin is peeled off, revealing hard metal skull, yada yada yada. Better indicator, it's time to leave. Help myself to some of those weapons and soldiers left and getting the fuck out. Yep. I cannot blame someone for being paranoid after something like that, because, well, yeah. I'm impressed. Too bad for her, I know how to pick locks. Yes. Yes, game, I know I can destroy wooden planks. I can destroy them with either gunfire, explosives, or a melee option, but, well, it's kind of a rare moment to actually use the melee option in this game. This is entirely because the melee option in this game absolutely sucks ass. In every way. There is no reason to use it for any reason. But yet, somehow, it still exists. And over here, Yoink. So that was a pretty hefty pile of loot. And yes, my melee option is a lead pipe. It is entirely useless, as we know. And let's see, so this is that second cafe out of the 3 that was here. So that's all done and cleared out. Let us go into the vent system. As you can see, it's almost always just a short optional path, so yoink. And with that, we are out of the so-called trap, and we still have this door to crack open. Damn it. Damn it. Ironically, when I was playing other games, like, say, Fallout and such, I was playing them on a PlayStation 3, and I found that I had an easier time with lockpicking using the controller stick. This is partly just me being old and decrepit, and partly just the sensitivity involved is lower, so it makes it easier. And let's see what's in here. Okay, just electrical parts, but still, that's not a bad haul of loot. I am not going to complain one bit. And finally, over here we have, well, a couple of trip mines hiding on the way out. So let's see what we can do about dealing with that.
Stop it! I'm from the Resistance! Don't shoot! You need to hide.
This person is a paranoid idiot, but it's her own fault. You would think she would have noticed the trail of robot corpses left behind me if she was following me, but apparently not. So, oh well, sucks to be her. I believe this is the old joke, don't confuse me with facts, my mind is made up, so this character is very much, well, kind of built around that concept. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Drones like these are actually susceptible to bullets. They are generally considered some of the weakest enemies in the game, if not the absolute weakest. By the way, over there was a hunter-killer aerial unit. HK aerials are immune to everything except explosive weapons. Which is why I have a rocket launcher with me. Because I plan on killing that thing as soon as I can. Not because I need to, no, because I want to. And because it would be funny to me. I think that's a pretty good excuse, don't you? Okay, so let's see what we left off with out here. There's, well, that's where I crept under to look around at things, and, well, there were bots here. Let's see what's left of them. As you can see, the Resistance has not been having a good time of things lately. So I've been using this plasma gun for a little while now. It's quite powerful. It's probably one of the most powerful plasma guns in the game, to be honest. But let's show off the other weapons that I have at the moment. This is my plasma sniper rifle. The CRT tube TV on top is a decent scope that highlights enemies through walls. It takes 5 plasma cells per shot, but it is the second most powerful weapon in the game by raw damage. It is incredibly useful as a result, and I am never going to begrudge it for the fact that it causes stupid amounts of damage, especially because of the fact that it makes Terminators cry. Perhaps not literally, but I like the mental image of having a robot cry bitter tears. Next up, we have the rocket launcher that I mentioned. This is going to be my go-to for killing HKs. This thing is designed to absolutely fuck up angry robots, and I love it. And this, despite its appearance as a single-barreled gun, is allegedly a minigun. It's very much a plasma weapon. It is dirt cheap to utilize. It is dirt cheap to employ. It is hard to get to because it's a late-game weapon, but it is an absolute bullet hose and will not stop until whatever you're pointing at is dead. Its only disadvantage, as shown, is that as much as I like it, it does not have sights when you try to aim. Also, that was just kind of funny looking. You can also see the difference with between red plasma and other types of plasma here. Purple plasma is considered the version 2.0, and purple plasma is approximately twice as powerful. Over there we have a T-47 heavy assault robot. Let's see what we can do. Oh, he's coming for me. So that T-47 is mildly miffed at me. Let's see what I can do about fixing that. So by shooting him in the head like that, you tend to cause all sorts of fun damage to him. And short him out. And that is one less T-47 in the world. There is an achievement for killing the first one you encounter, back when you have basically no real weapons that can harm it effectively, but well, that one was an especially tough variant as it was equipped with plasma weapons. The T-47 is essentially the one step just below what Skynet uses for absolutely murdering everything, namely its HK tanks, which you might have seen in the first Terminator movie during the, well, flash backslash forwards to the horrible future-esque thing. Now, I'm hearing a hunter-killer. There it is. Let's see what we can do about fixing that thing, huh? I think I annoyed it. So, yeah. Whoops on my part. Okay. Let's actually just fall back. It seems to be doing the same, at least temporarily. Oh, here we are. It's coming. I think I annoyed it again. So it takes a multitude of shots to kill an HK aerial, as you can see, but the end result is worth it, both in, well, the experience points and in the rewards. So let's kill that fucker. 1,300 experience. I think that's a pretty good reward. Because, well, when you only need 8,000 experience to level up, and you're at that point, you actually start the game only needing 1,000, by the way, so it's a steady increase instead of a, oh, fucking hell. God damn it, game! Oh, I deserved that. Let's load from checkpoint. And we are back here. Damn it. Oh, well.
Stop it! I'm from the resistance. Don't shoot!
Stand still. I'm walking straight towards her.
You need to hide.
It says a lot when the typical explosive you can find out in the wild is more dangerous to you than it is to the enemy. Though, to be honest, I'm also very amused by it, so I shouldn't be complaining too much. Anyway, the little lady was shooting from up there, so we actually have to go up there and see what the hell's going on. This will take a few moments, because I still have to suss out how to actually get up there, because... Oh, derp. Look at this. I feel like an idiot.
You won't get me. Fuck.
Okay, that feels better. We just got the violence out of our systems, and we killed a whole bunch of bots. And we have an issue. So what we have here are T-808s. They are T-800s equipped with flamethrowers and a bad attitude. Even more so than the typical bad attitude for these fuckers. Ah well, she's probably dead. It's her own fault for being that paranoid. May as well loot the place. Hey, maybe we'll be able to steal a rifle. Ah, there she is, quite dead. Sucks to be her. It's her own fault. And this is a new weapon. A TC-16R. So let's see what we can do. We have a couple of extra weapons here, so let's just drop that, and drop that, and drop that. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's... yeah. I'm not certain if I was surprised or anything, but when it comes down to it, it's just one of those unavoidable tragedies of the paranoia of wartime. So let's take a look at this new toy. So, this is a TC-16R, a classic plasma gun. So let's actually swap out my classic plasma, well, sniper rifle and take a look at this thing. Okay, so it holds 22 rounds. It looks like an M1 carbine that's been futurized, as much as that word makes any possible sense. And it's probably about as useful as tits on a crate. So, yeah. I'll try it out, but I have absolutely no hope for it. By the way, the hunter-killers, like the aerial there, the notable thing about them is that when push comes to shove, they are functionally invulnerable to plasma weapons, or, well, whatever weapons are at hand, for lack of a better term. So let's see what we can do about this whole T-47 here. Okay, this thing sucks. Not only does it suck really hard, but it uses twice as much ammo per shot as any other weapon at the moment. Namely, it uses 2 plasma cells per shot. This thing is really crap. So let's just retreat and swap to a different, better weapon. That woke him up. As you can see, the T-47 does not like elevations. So huzzah! It's back to being dead. And this thing we can consign to the dustbin of history after I shoot that explosive barrel. And this is where we have left off. Over here is the area full of, what was it again? Sorry, my brain's just scattered at this moment. Is the area full of trip mines that we that we decided not to go through, and we're getting close to the second part of here, but, well, the first part is in here somewhere, so we may as well explore for that. For skills, well, I may as well get crafting 4. And boop. You can, in theory, get all of the skills in the game. It is not entirely practical, but it's nice to do because of the fact that the game is doing its best. And I will never begrudge a game for doing its best, even if I think some of its issues are, well, issues that make it janky. But in this case, the game is charmingly janky, so I will not complain at all. One of the things that I do grumble about in games with an experience system is that often you can only dump your first few levels into essentially what are gimmies, or feat tax, to use the Dungeons & Dragons term. And the feat tax in this game would be the Swift Learner perk, which gives you a maximum plus 30% boost to experience for everything you do. And, well, as much as it is extremely useful and extremely important, it just doesn't feel fun to have that requirement, you know? Over here we have... this is a plot-relevant barrier. We will have to go here later. So let us continue on. Or, more accurately, let us continue on in our backtracking to where the actual objective is, because I have all of the situational awareness of a potato and I keep getting sidetracked by shinies. By the way, over here is a safe house and a save point, so we may as well take advantage of that, because, well, as you saw, I got blown up by my own hubris, and that set me back a fair bit. Or at least I would go and hit up that safe house as soon as I possibly could, if the game would let me, but it fucking isn't, because the game fucking hates me. Good times! Doopy 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 doop, doopy doopy doop doopy 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 doop, doopy doop doopy doop. I swear to God. Sometimes my luck is incredibly asinine, but it's always worth a good chuckle. Might as well take a photo of that thing. HK aerials are only hostile if you provoke them, which, honestly, while it's generally good if you can afford the resource expenditure, is not always required. Sigh. As you guys can see, the game tends to have a reasonably well thought out balance between exploring, looting, and actually getting into fights. because, well, for the most part, the game actually encourages all three. Oh, god damn it. Okay. I am getting sick and fucking tired of these damn laser trip mines.
How do you know I'm getting closer?
There are still plenty of resistance sensors in the area. I see everything. Open your eye in the sky.
Great.
It would be great except for the fact that Alvin is, well, kind of a useless tit of a character, and I don't really like him. So 2 can grenades, that is actually a very nice collection of... Oh, hello, that was fast. Let's see what we have over here. More laser traps, more dead guys, still more dead guys, something on fire, oh, a person on fire, and debris, wreckage debris, loot is good, loot is very good, yoink, delicious loot, it's tasty loot. Yes, I know, I am like a fucking magpie, which is, well, kind of the point of this. Grr. Yay. As you can see, this place kinda got its, everything torn open. By the way, in regards to the lockpicking minigame in this game, there is one nice feature for very easy locks that the game has. Specifically, with very easy locks, due to the game designers actually having a brain, you cannot break your lockpick while trying to pick them. So you can muck around as much as you want, and it is impossible to actually break your lockpicks while you're dealing with the very easy locks. It is honestly refreshing and one of the best things that the developers have done. Fucking hell. I deserve that. Okay, and where am I now? Oh, here now. God damn it. Ah well. She's still dead. Sucks to be her. I do apologize. I just needed to check on something. It'll just take a second. Okay, that's good. I just needed to double check that the game was properly streaming. I have had technical difficulties these last few months, so I just wanted to double check and make sure everything was all hunky-dory. Turns out I did not have cause to worry, so that's all well and good on my part. I am surprised that nobody's decided to wander over and yell at me, but, well, scheduling in life happens, right? So there's that T-47 that I have to re-kill again. It can wait. Yes, I know it's immature and petty, but I still take great glee in destroying that thing every chance I get, because the T-47 is considered chief shitwrecker of Skynet's forces. So absolutely humiliating it like that is never not funny. Whoops, nearly blew myself up. Again. Okay, now let's see what we can do. Tumty 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 tum. Back into the parking garage of doom and salvage. Mouse says rotate pin. Yeah. Sure, works for wide sweeping movements like that. Doesn't really work for the very tight ones, and on hard locks, you need the tight ones. Crunch. And what is my backpack full of this time? Oh, that's because I did not drop this before, and while I like keeping these around because you can sell them for a stupid amount of dosh, I don't really need the dosh anymore. I am sitting on some absurd number, if I recall correctly. I just can't remember where I found that number in the first place. Oh, there we are. 29,154 trade goods worth. So I can drop that, and that frees up 6 slots. Make that 5. So, yeah. This game, right? Needless to say, there's a whole lot of good in this game. I honestly enjoy it because the atmosphere is incredibly well done. The developers went to a lot of pains to make this world that they created feel like Terminator. And honestly, that surprised a lot of people because the previous game that these guys were known to make was the absolutely atrocious Rambo rail shooter, which somehow managed to exist, and I have no idea how. Okay, this is something new, and there is a T-808 over there. You can tell because of the flamethrower. So let's just pop it and see what makes that. We see what falls out, right? Yeah, we're doing good. And yes, shooting a Terminator in the head is still absolutely wonderful. So, that big fat X on the door there, that means there's loot in there. Let's crack her open. Usually, loot in this case means trade resources out with the arse, and I am not having a complaint about that, because, well, you can use trade resources to buy ammunition if you absolutely need to. Usually you won't need to, but it's still nice to have as a rainy day fund, for lack of a better term. I didn't know Skynet had mastered the art of levitating rocks. hear an HK. Oh, there it is. Oh, bad idea. Just gonna fall back a little and heal. As you can see, my health is regenerating, which is kind of nice. And this guy is really angry. He's just hosing the area with missiles. Let's help. This here is what we call jank, what with it shooting clean through concrete. But again, as long as I don't get insta-fragged, I am essentially invulnerable because I have constant regeneration. Well, that's strange. Actually, that was pretty fucking funny. I'm not gonna complain. And yoink, a whole bunch of loot from the hack. And a whole bunch of ammo from that dead Terminator that I forgot to pick up. And let's see what we can do about ganking this damn HK, huh? Gotcha! Now, where are you landing? Good. Because he landed way over there, it's just a short sprint to zip on over and loot the fuck out of his corpse. As you can see, these guys are pretty big, so it's always worth it. In this case, I got 8 laser-guided missiles back, and I had used, I had 16 to start with. What do I have now? I have 15 left, so I'm only down 1 missile after that entire battle. Not too shabby. Now let's go back into the parking garage and collect our actual quest reward once we finish picking locks. So yeah, this game is, honestly, I enjoy it. It's just set in that right niche of the developers went to absolute pains to make everything feel as Terminator-y as possible while still managing their own spin on things. And they did it with very much a tiny budget. I mean, we're talking something like 1/50th what Bethesda would normally spend on most games, much less modern ones. In fact, some people would probably argue that this game is better than what Bethesda can crap out on any given day, and I am disinclined to argue against that. It really is very much... What the hell? How did that thing survive? It's very much one of those cases where the tiny developer that nobody had any faith in just managed, and they managed really well. honestly a bit of a success story in its own right, and people really should consider getting this game for themselves. It is just, honestly, as I've mentioned before, it's just that well done. It's endearing to me. It's endearing as a fan of the Terminator series. I have watched all of the good Terminator movies. I have watched some of the bad Terminator movies. I have even read some of the Terminator comics of various flavors, ranging from silly to stupid. And at the end of the day, well, what it comes down to is just how much you enjoy the franchise is a big factor in how much effort you will put into the franchise when in an adaptation like this. And the developers showed that every part of this is something that they love. They love the concept, they love the characters, they love the setting, they love the world. And they're taking the time to explore a part of the Terminator universe that has only really been explored 2 or 3 times before by Bethesda. And honestly, I wouldn't trust Bethesda to explore its own pants with both hands and a map. That, by the way, was a sticky bomb. And that was me standing too close to a bomb. Ow. Grr.
How do you know I'm getting closer?
There are still plenty of resistance sensors in the area. I see everything. I'll be your eye in the sky.
Great.
So, the character of Alvin, for lack of a better term, the guy is a pretentious dickweed. He sincerely thinks that he is the best thing since sliced bread, and, well, sliced bread is better than him in every way. In fact, unsliced bread is better than him in every way. He is a guy who thinks he is the foremost expert in dealing with Terminators, Terminator AI, all that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, he just can't. He has issues dealing with the entire concept, he has issues dealing with everything Skynet has been doing, and he just can't keep up. He is in over his head, basically. There is nothing he can do about it at the end of the day, and as a result, he is insecure, he is overconfident, and he will inevitably fuck up, and when he fucks up, people will die. And then he'll fob his blame off on everyone around him because of the fact that people died doing what he said because of the fact that he's a panicky idiot. But that's okay, because it's not his fault, right? Fucking hate this lockpicking minigame. If there's one thing this world needs, it is no more of these fucking lockpicking games. If you want a proper lockpicking minigame, Thief 4 actually did a pretty good job of it. It is not a good thief game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good burglary sim. And let's just keep on popping those. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, huzzah. Let's see what we got here. Nothing. I hope not. So I got blown up here last time. Let's see if I don't get blown up this time, because that would be embarrassing. And kind of hilarious, to be honest, but mostly embarrassing. But it looks like we have saved ourselves from the massive rigor and embarrassment of getting blown up by our own hubris once more. So, Anyway, let's go back and look for that red van. It's not too far away, actually. We discovered it in a previous run, right before I got killed. So it's, well, only a few steps away. Just around the corner here really. Yeah. At least there's good loot to be had in here. Fucking lockpicks, right? Fucking lockpicks. Ah! Half a goddamn pixel. I swear to God. Swear to fucking God.
Where's the battery?
So that is the code reader. Yay.
No, that's not quite true. Once you get the code reader working, you still have to find an AT connection. But don't worry, later they call them
Yes, game. Smack me upside the head for not paying attention. That was a good little surprise, because I really wasn't paying attention when those little spider bots crawled up out of nowhere and tried to shoot my ass. So you may have noticed my preference for ammunition-fed guns in this game over, well, magazine-fed guns over this gun, which just has an overheat mechanic. The main reason why is because in a stressful firefight, I tend to clamp the trigger, and I don't do short-controlled bursts. This is very much a failing of mine, and someone who is less prone to twitch reflexes when in a shooter would have a much better time of things than me. But, well, at the same time, it's just something that I have to live with. You know, it's just a minor failing, like, you know, being alive. Okay, I'm sorry, that was a very dark joke, and it's definitely in poor taste, considering some past history and all. Anyway, let's see what we can do about continuing onwards. My goal is to actually hit up the next safe house just to the north of me, and that involves, well, climbing up there and finding it in the first fucking place. Actually, I think I might have found it here. So let's just take a peek and poke around, see what we can find. God damn it, another lockpick. See this? This is why you do not take inspiration from Todd Howard. Swear to God. I mean, the wall of trade resources is not a bad trade, but it's still frustrating. And you see, that's the thing. It doesn't matter how much you enjoy something. If it's frustrating, it'll never be worth it. So you saw that rat there. Guess what? You can kill the rat. You get experience for killing the rat. But that's not all. Rat meat. 10 resources. I am swimming in money. Now, if only that was true in real life. I am not so silly as to attempt to use a rocket launcher, especially a laser-guided rocket launcher, against a rat for $10. Mostly because the pricing difference between a rocket and the rat is kind of silly. One of the things this game has as a mechanic, I guess you would call it, is that for the most part, you are not actually affected by any weight limit. You are only affected by an inventory size limit. And save our game. So let's just crack open this crafting table and see what we can build. Oh, that's right, because I died, I need to open up these last two bits here, because I really want to get my hands on more can grenades. But more importantly, I want actual, medical stuff. So let's do some upgrades. So I want crafting 5 before I actually craft anything, because the using 50% less resources is very important. As an example, right now, for violet plasma cells, it takes me 4 metal scraps, 4 electric parts, and 4 energy cells per to make 15. With crafting 5, 2 each. With this, well, from 2 each to 1 each. It all adds up like that, So, it's incredibly useful. By the way, the Termination knife, there is an achievement for using one to successfully kill a T-800. It has its weaknesses, namely, while it is a single-use, disposable weapon that will one-shot kill a T-800 model, it can only be used on the T-800 if, and only if, the following factors are put into play. First off, it cannot be aware of you at any level. There should not be any alertness markings on the screen. There's no alertness markings in white, showing it might have heard you and might be looking for something. There should be no awareness in red, which is when it's actively hunting you. Secondly, you have to sneak up behind it. Thirdly, the fucking thing is loud. It will actually alert enemies around you. So, yeah. Anyway, shenanigans. So, that was all the explanation in regards to crafting. I do not mind the crafting in this game. It's very useful, but for the most part, I find myself using it mostly for just creating ammunition. Anyway, onwards, because we still have stuff to do. We have Terminators to hunt, kills to kill, all that sort of stuff. Yes, I know I'm rambling. Okay, so let's just backtrack a little and take a poke into prod, because, well, the one thing that is absolutely a failing on my part in this game, or really in any game of this genre, is I want to explore. I want to see the world. I want to see what's in it. I want to take in the view, but I also want to keep things going at a reasonable pace, both for my viewers and for, well, myself. I am basically getting impatient in my old age. Over there we have an armored spider. An armored spider is one of the types of Skynet drones that is weak to conventional weapons. Namely, well, rifles, pistols, all that sort of stuff. As a result, it is not really a true threat. It is just enough of a threat to be slightly dangerous. This is familiar to people who are seeing the last stream, by the way. This area is the highway you had to run down to flee an attack by an HK tank. So, and over there is what's left of our little enemy that we so mercilessly murked, the Hunter-Killer Aerial. Needless to say, Hunter-Killers are bad news. I do not exaggerate when I say that they will absolutely wreck your face without half a chance of reprisal if they can get away with it. The only thing stopping them from doing that regularly is the fact that we're playing on normal difficulty. Well, that was embarrassing. So, that was a T825V model Terminator, the part of the T800 series, obviously. The 825V is the upgraded version of the 825, so it is dual wielding a pair of plasma rifles, which is bad enough, but it is dual wielding the violet plasma rifles, which are even worse because those fuckers hit like a ton of bricks. If I continued to stand out there in the open trying to plink away at it without recourse, I would eventually get my ass killed, and nobody wants that because, well, I have a pretty ass. So, just doing a quick peek and a poke, or a sneap and a snoop as the joke may be, just to see if there's anything here that actually needs scavenging. And that appears to be a no, so let's go into where our second safe house of this area, well, third safe house of this area is, and collect the loot. So, this used to be a resistance encampment before it got blowed up real good. And as you can see, there's some stuff in here that we need to look for. So, let's see what we can do. That quantum battery is our objective. Let's continue to look around first.
I've got the code reader working.
Good. Now go look for an HK. During the attack, our team heavily damaged an HK tank. That's your safest bet, but be careful. The area gets filled with Terminators. If I were you, I'd think back.
I feel almost rude for doing that to them, but what the hell. The game might suggest stealth, but honestly, when you have a Gatling gun, it would be rude of you not to overuse it. But onwards we go to kill more Terminators and continue our exploration of the world. The Ultravision goggles that I have with their camera function, which is essentially Pokemon Snap trying to kill me, is very much a system that is kind of shoehorned into the game, to be fair. But at the end of the day, it's still kind of fun. I'm not going to begrudge it that. I'm going to begrudge a whole lot of other things, but, well, when it comes down to it, I mean, fun is fun, right? And if you can't have fun with something, then what's the point? Huh, graves. I never actually poked around there. Well, let's see what I can do about getting in there and looting the hell out of it, because there's loot back there, and I'm a murder hobo. And so, of course, rule number one of being a murder hobo is to always be a murder hobo. And this includes the hobo part. And here we are. Murder hoboing successful. So, yeah, someone actually went to the trouble of burying those bodies, and he hopes that when he eventually dies, well, someone will do the same for him. That is... It's nice. There's no other way around it. In a world as bleak as the future war of the Terminator setting, just basic human decency like that is honestly nice. It's something that is rarely seen in the struggle for survival. And that's what makes it so poignant, I think. And that's why I say that the developers really understood the source material of this. They looked at Terminator, they looked at the setting, they looked at everything about it, and they said, yes, we can work with this, but it is going to be, well, depressing in some regards, but also uplifting. Canonically, in the story of the movies, Skynet loses. Remember that. At the end of the day, it is not the all-encompassing, destroying everything AI that wins, but sheer human endurance, durability, and cussedness that has us defeat the AI. And that's something to admire. There's very few movies that will give you a statement like that. Oh, goddamn. Anyway, we gotta keep going on this, so I should really focus on that.
Now proceed with caution. That's something Darren would say, right?
Fucking. So, now I have to go and hunt down a hunter-killer. This is gonna be fun. I do appreciate the fact that the purple plasma rifle, which I actually stole from a Terminator, is hilariously powerful. Like so. While I admit the ammunition economy is not something I am good at, it's just enjoyable for me to absolutely murder the shit out of those Terminators. Especially because earlier on in the game, Terminators are extremely capable of not only wrecking your shit, but keeping your shit wrecked for a significant chunk of the game. They are never going to be easy foes, and even now, what I consider them to be, well, I consider them to be easy because of my gear and my levels and all that sort of stuff, you can see that they are still quite capable of absolutely chunking me if they so chose to. It's just that, for the most part, I tend to get either absurdly lucky or just absurdly lucky. I mean, someone would call me a filthy lucker at some point, but the only truth about that is that I'm a filthy bastard, so... Anyway, we are done exploring here, let's continue on. And kaboom, because kabooms are nice. And the free experience is also nice. The problem with the explosives is that they're officially intended to be used in battles and such, but it's often so hectic and the color palette is, well, kind of grays and browns at the moment, that it's hard to really see them in darkness. It's one of the issues I have, yes. I mean, push comes to shove, I don't think it's a bad issue. Oh, what's that over there? That is the hunter-killer tank. So, the scope, kinda can barely see it, but it's not really all that good, so let's just keep on.
Looks like they set up an outpost here. Should I engage?
That's not your main objective, but I'll leave that up to you.
So, Skynet outposts. Outposts are essentially little mini bases, all that sort of stuff, usually full of plasma storage containers. Skynet uses plasma containers as ammunition, so let's just smirk the fuck out of it. was 2 more Terminators for the dead enemy pile. I'm feeling pretty good about that. So if we look at our map here, we will see that there's an outpost over here, so let's activate that and deal with that quest, because who doesn't like seeing outposts get exploded? And so what we have around the corner is a Skynet plasma turret. It is currently looking away for some reason, but it will hook around, I believe. Yep, all the way across. So I'll just wait until it looks away, then hack it. And now it is mine forever. Sometimes it's all about pattern recognition, sometimes it's all about speed. Honestly, I didn't need to hack that turret, I just did it because I wanted to. The one disadvantage with hacking turrets, despite the fact that they are incredibly useful and fun to use, is that, well, you can't really destroy the turret to get its loot. Sorry about that. I was probably overpowered by the massive array of ammunition I was slinging downrange. So, if you didn't hear me, well, too bad, so sad. The long and short version is, of course, that... Oh, fucking hell. So, silverfish. Silverfish are essentially Terminator suicide bombs. They are giant pill bugs made of boom and hate. They're also entirely sound activated. At least they should be. Silverfish were created in comics, I believe. I cannot remember exactly which one. But it's not necessarily a bad thing per se to deal with them. They are an interesting type of enemy. And that's 4 dead Terminators. This is why I honestly enjoy this weapon, because it is stupidly overpowered when it needs to be. And so we have a hostile enemy turret over there. A hostile enemy turret that is now damaged. And yeah, the long and short of this is quite simply that at the end of the day, it's very much a matter of, you can play this game pretty much in 2 ways. You can be a sneaky git, or you can just go absolute fucking murder hobo. And most part, people like myself tend to go absolute fucking murder hobo. And of course, we shall not forget to absolutely loot the fuck out of the place once we're done. So yeah. Okay, that was actually a challenging hack, at least by my really old standards, because I'm really old and slow and farty. Fart, 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 fart. It's because of the fact that I'm old and miserable and cranky. This here is an exit point. We are not leaving yet. We have shit to do. And of course, explosions to cause. Because everyone loves explosions. There was a joke in an anime I saw many years ago called Excel Saga. And it was very much your typical be as silly as possible while still being allowed to be put on TV. And the last episode of that show was called Going Way Too Far. This was deliberate. It was exactly 30 seconds too long to be put on TV, so the showrunners decided to make it as absolutely ludicrously silly as possible. Sorry, hang on a second. Anyway, the last episode being called Taking Things Way Too Far, well, kinda says it all. And yes, that Terminator just punched me. What do you think? Did I make Skynet mad here? Okay, sorry about the delay there. Anyway, as I was talking about in regards to Excel Saga, with the concept, or conceit, that the setting was very much purely gag-a-day, and the showrunners wanted it to be absolutely ludicrously absurd at least once. Delicious explosion. That was a tasty boom. Well, they decided to go full ham on the very last episode, called it Going Way Too Far, and then did everything possible to offend people in its creation, in every way, shape, and form possible. And that was many years ago, and it was funny then. I would say it does not hold up now, but the fact that it was funny then is still something that it can be admired, I suppose. So as you can see, I'm basically doing this with essentially your medium tier weapon, for obvious reason of it is not quite god tier yet. But, well, every once in a while you just want to blow shit up, right? As you can see, if you poke and peek around, there's usually options for sneaking in without being spotted, but, well, it's kind of too late for that for this, because I just absolutely murked the hell out of everything. Hacking and all that. I can't remember, does hacking give me experience? Let's check. It does! So may as well, right? Yes, I know I am being incredibly silly in regards to my applied violence, but what the heck, right? So down here is the bowels of this facility, which, well, has a heavy plasma turret sitting right there waiting for me. So let's sneak around behind it and shoot it in the ass. And hey, I have explosives out the ears I can cheese. There was a line in a Soviet Womble video a while back where you could, quote, see the hand of God turning the difficulty down just for him. This game sometimes reminds me of that.
Another outpost destroyed.
Affirmative. Did I use that correctly?
This is Alvin in a nutshell. He is not a smart man. Anyway, I'm just double backing here because, well, this is what this outpost had going for it. It was entirely, well, a war crime repository for lack of a better term. Every last one of these people fought against Skynet. So yeah, again, environmental world building and all that sort of stuff. It's not always made of happiness and sunshine, but it's invariably it should be well made. But sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's not something that I can easily articulate. I apologize if I am rambling. It's just one of those things that I can't really call it bothersome per se, but I don't know. I'm struggling to articulate my words, so I'm just going to shut up and play the game. Okay, onwards we go. Let's go down here. We haven't gone down here yet. Well, that nearly killed me. I'm approaching my luck. Blah. Fucking lockpicking. So haywire there is, once again, the implication that there were infiltrators in the Resistance. This is canon. There were T-850 infiltrators within the Resistance, so that is why the tank is disabled and not destroyed. And disabled tanks are still tanks, with all that entails and means, which means it can kick my ass if so inclined. Anyway, now that we are back at this little mini encampment, hello there, how are you doing?
Hi, Sonar.
And how you doing? That you, B-Man?
No, it ain't me.
Well, that's alright. Why don't you just have fun introducing yourself to the rest of the stream?
I'm totally not B-Man in 2288. Also,
Uh-huh.
I'm on break at work, so I actually have to go soon.
Such is life. Anyway, it's good to hear you, and how are you doing?
Drinking some pop, on break, relaxing my feet, relaxing my head. Good times.
Well, that's all well and good. So I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of crafting at the moment, because I have a massive pile of junk to build. So let's start with...
You know, like crafting macaroni and cheese?
No, while Kraft Macaroni and Cheese is a staple of Canadian songs, it is not what I was thinking of.
I want to make some mac and cheese, but I don't have the time right now. Can you craft food in this game?
Food? No. Just weapons.
Then how do these resistance members eat?
They scavenge.
But isn't that what you're doing right now? Part of the gameplay loop is
Yep.
scavenging, right?
Yep, trade goods include things like foods. Hello, what's this? One of those hacking gates.
So you keep selling all the food you get?
Well, I wouldn't say selling it, but definitely trading it for things like ammunition and shenanigans.
Selling is simply trading for like what you call it?
Yeah. The best way to describe
Money.
sales is barter via trust, and a symbol of that trust.
So like bitcoins.
That HK is still functioning. I can't get near.
Cause it's like triple bookkeeping, right? Oh gosh darn it.
Okay, so, the HK tank. This is an actual boss fight in this game. You can damage it by firing rockets into the generator on the back. Additionally, tank can be
Did you already
disabled.
fight one of these though?
Got it.
Trying to analyze it.
I'm fairly certain you fought one of them before.
On its back. Shoot it. Hurry. Skynet reinforcements are starting to show up.
No, this is the first time I've actually gotten this close to one. Oofa!
Alright, I gotta bounce.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, and have fun stream. It's actually, this game is actually fun to watch, at least.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better games, and that's a high praise from a old fart like me.
You're not that old. Alright, ta-ta.
I think it's annoyed. So yeah, hunter-killer tanks are the big bad wolves of Skynet's forces. These things are virtually unstoppable. They hit like tons of bricks when they're being gentle, and are essentially considered the nastiest things you can fight ever. Whee! As you can see, the comment of it also being virtually immune to attacks is quite deliberate.
The power supply river. He brought it back. Watch out. Drones approaching.
Gotcha, Sonner. Well, that was amusing.
Stunned you in his head.
Shut up, Alvin. I think I'm annoying it.
Bad news. My sensors are picking up an aerial transporter in your vicinity. Rocket, run!
Oops. Oh, I deserved that. Sorry about that. Uh, the game has crashed. A fatal error. I am sorry, but it looks like the game has decided to spite me. Give me a moment. Okay, so let's just restart the game because, wow, that is the first time I have ever had this game crash on me. I do apologize for the inconvenience. This will take a little while it restarts. Okay, so again, I do apologize about that. That has never happened to me before. So let's continue to where we left off. Well, we left off here anyway, so... Oh, hang on. Yeah, that's interesting. I never actually did go in there, so let's go in there. Sorry about that. Whee! Madly off in every direction, right? So, I agree. I admit the hunter-killer fight is a very good cat-and-mouse fight. I was not expecting it to be nearly as tense as it is. Though, part of that is the music, really. So all of that for some extra ammo and compounds and all that. So I'm not going to complain one bit. Yoink. Anyway, back we go. And onwards we go. Because, of course. So, push comes to shove. This is going to be interesting. Because, well, it's not that I suck at this thing. It's that I suck at this thing.
That HK is still functioning. I can't get near.
Rocket launcher. Even they can get that thing. Better fuck.
Got it.
And this, by the way, is a free rocket launcher in case you didn't have one.
Supply is located on its back. Shoot it. Hurry. Skynet reinforcements are starting to show up. Nice shot. Now get to cover until it returns to the scanning machine.
Well, that was mildly embarrassing.
Watch out! Drones approaching! It's done! Quick, get behind it!
Good times, right? Anyway, mad sprint for the next ammo box, because ammo is never a bad thing. And then once more, a rocket to the face.
It's got it in his head! That's it! Now hide. Bad news! My sensors are picking up an aerial transporter in your vicinity.
So as shown there, the aerial is immune to plasma. Ding.
The power supply river! It's on its back! It's done! Quick, get behind it!
Yeah, I have to admit, that was a pretty good shot for a blind, unaimed shot. Anyway, let's see what we can do about annoying this fucker. As you can probably guess, it will continue to try and escalate. running for my life. If one of you cheeky jackasses things running in the 90s, I will try to find you and punch you through the internet.
Rocket, run! He's done! Quick, get behind it!
HK7.
Good job, Rivers. Download the security code. Get out of there. I need to take a nap. I'm exhausted.
So, this is what a hunter-killer tank actually looks like. This is honestly the first real time you get a chance to basically take a look at one up close and personal like this, and it is honestly pretty impressive. It is definitely stupidly big, and let's see what we can do about hacking it, huh?
Got it. Moving out.
Well, that was fast. So, let's see. Let's check our map. We can leave from the north, or go all the way back to the south, which is where we came in from. With our combat skills, we just have explosives and stealth to study, so let's work on stealth. Because now we can crouch walk even faster. And as I'm almost out of red plasma, I am just going to stick with my purple plasma here. And huzzah, mission complete. So we are back in Dr. Mack's laboratory. Dr. Mack is, well, he's quirky. He's not a bad person, at least I don't like to think he's not a bad person. But he is definitely not a good person. And that's one more for the journal entries, talking about the weak spot of the Terminator, namely that given an opportunity to complete its mission, it will always try to do so, regardless of the fact that it could very well easily backfire and bite them in the ass.
I've got the codes. All right, then let's get right to it. Please insert stolen security codes now. Strike a key when ready. And it's done. Like they say, easy money. That's it? With the proper equipment, it only takes a moment. We can fight Skynet with our own weapons. I believe that goes for that infiltrator as well. The first prototype just came out a couple of days ago. Imagine what happens if they become mass-produced. We need to hurry before that happens.
That infiltrator has been after us for more than just a couple of days.
What do you mean?
It's been following me for months.
But that simply can't be. That prototype has been out for mere days.
It's the same model that destroyed Pacific Division.
But I'm connected to Skynet's mainframe and I can see their plans. I'm telling you that what you're saying is not possible. Unless... Oh my God. They will They will finish the TDE.
Finish what?
TDE, time displacement equipment. For all intents and purposes, it's a time machine.
A time machine?
Yes, a time machine. You go in, you pick a date, you press a button, and just like that you'll be watching your younger self learning to tie your shoelaces. You know, time travel. Skynet's been working on TDE for a while now. I've been monitoring its progress, but it's still not ready.
So how could they send anyone back if it's not ready?
They didn't, but they will. Don't you see? In one alternative future, they finished TDE and sent a Terminator back to our times. That has to be the one you saw. You couldn't have seen it otherwise. It didn't exist yet. That would explain why they suddenly started to learn at such a geometric rate. This is big. This is really big.
So if it's done, then what the fuck can we do now?
We can still fight for this future. Our future. You could stop Skynet before they finish building time displacement equipment and send any more Terminators back. I'm forwarding everything I've learned to Connor. He needs to know. And you go report back to Baron.
Speaking of Baron, I got that chip for you. Is it any different from the others?
Is it any different? Of course it is. Its CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer. It's been updated to incorporate infiltrating techniques. Thus, its processing power exceeds any other chip. This could be exactly what we need to win this war, Jacob.
I have to warn you. Baron sent me to kill you. If she finds out that I didn't, she'll send someone who will.
Thank you for telling me. If what you're saying is true, I don't have much time. As soon as I'm done packing, I'll be on my way. I've already sent all the blueprints and access codes to Connor. Grab that plasma behind you and go see Baron.
And I'm okay with failing that quest, because honestly, well... Oh yeah. Look at this thing. Whoop! So a V25A plasma rifle. Second generation phased plasma rifle. Let's try this out, actually. So it does 125 damage as baseline. 28 rounds in the magazine. Decent stability. In comparison, 120, lower fire rate, lower shots to overheat, better stability. All told, not too shabby, right? So, let's just swap these around, case by case basis and all that sort of stuff. So Skynet weapons and such can have chips added to them. So let's remove these chips because, well, I can. And click, and okay. And then I can put chips in this instead and make it even better. So first thing and foremost, we're going to drop a plus 52% boost to the magazine in that thing. And then we are going to force feed this a pair of damage upgrades for plus 40% damage. Oh, derp. Derp, 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 derp. I feel like an idiot. Okay, so where is it? There it is. Good enough. Complete and activated for way more damage and a better magazine. But yeah, that's a side quest I feel okay failing because of the fact that, well, Mac is obviously working for Connor.
It is. But I have some news for you.
Go ahead.
So we're back at the shelter, and we have things to do before we go. We're probably talking to some NPCs and all that, because it's very likely that this might just be the last time we are able to be in this shelter for any real length of time. That door is still locked. I have no idea we'll ever open it. I don't mind though, because that's okay.
of the hour.
Sergeant, are you taking a tour with us?
The NPCs are all NPC-like, so that doesn't matter too much. And this is concerning.
Get back to me.
Know your target and what's behind it.
And what else?
Shit, I forgot.
So normally, when you have NPCs in the area that are non-hostile, if you can talk to them, they'll have dots. Hello, doggy. It's a little puppy.
I think these ones have a 5-second fuse. Are you sure? We don't want the same thing that happened last time.
Do you need anything?
Can I see your hard drive?
So, the quartermaster. We can sell some stuff that we don't need. And that's a whole lot of stuff that we don't need that is worth a stupid amount of value, so let's just sell all that junk that we don't need. Huzzah! I am being redundant, yes. And here is the big prize. A Rail Plasma VG01, which is the upgraded version of the Rail Plasma RG01. And over here, a Plasma Minigun VSB90. So let's just grab that as well. So let's just yank out these chips on this thing and get ready to scrap it. Yank out the chips on this thing and get ready to scrap it. Okay, hang on a second. Dumpty tumpty 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 tum. It's a little bit of a puzzle game in a way. But that's what we really want.
Do you need...
Can I see your...
Okay, sorry about that. Just cleaning up shop and all that rot. So we have someone to talk to here, we have someone to talk to here, and a quest over there, obviously. And a whole lot of not much else. And as you can see, we are at level 28, our max EXP, so we are capped out. We will never get the 3 points on explosives. unless we find the skill books that give points for those, but it's so late in the game it's probably not going to happen.
They gave me a rifle? I don't even know how to use one. They said it's hot, but it doesn't seem hot to me at all.
Yeah, giving the egghead a rifle and then not training him it's an exercise in stupid. So, anyway, I'm just going to build 5 individual items in this, just to complete an achievement, so let's do that. And that was 4, so let's see. Yeah, you. And then I may as well finish off with these. Okay, thank you Steam for not actually giving me the achievement. Fuck you, Steam.
Rivers, just when you thought shit couldn't get any more crazy, this happens.
So what now?
With the infiltrators coming out and news of a fucking time machine, Connor wants to finish this war fast.
Are we prepared?
Nowhere near. That's why an all-out attack is our only option. Alvin managed to locate Skynet's central core through the hijacked satellite. It turns out it's right under our nose. It's in the basement of the old Griffith Observatory.
So we're moving out.
You are. Connor wants me to stay here to coordinate the attack. And his North Division is heading to stop Skynet from sending anything through the time displacement equipment.
So this is it.
It does seem that way. You better get all your things sorted. Take your time. We're leaving in a couple of hours. Dismissed.
Okay, she has nothing left to say. Let's see. Does anyone else? Well, let's take a look at the mini-map. Or should I say the actual map? Oh, wait. Patrick has something to say. Patrick is, well, he is a minor NPC from the very start of the game. He is a little sproglet with an adult voice, which is fucking creepy as shit. And at the end of the day, well, it's kind of important to talk to those creepy little sproglets, so we may as well. I'm taking the long way around because I'm an idiot and decided to make a wrong turn, and I'm too stubborn to go backwards, so what the hell, right? Anyway, such is life. I really do admit that every part of this game feels crafted to fit the atmosphere, and even the music is heavily thematic of, well, all the classic Terminator stuff.
Now screw the end cap on very gently.
They're building bombs.
It's good. Now, 6 more.
Jacob, you moving out?
I am. What about you?
I'm part of a scavenging team now. But Commander Barron gave us an order to get back to the shelter. If you see Jennifer, can you tell her that?
Okay. Where is she?
The last time I saw her, she was upstairs.
Okay, so Jennifer is yet another NPC, and she's reasonably likable. She's been helpful, she's been caring, all that sort of stuff. She's basically everything that the protagonist is not. She actually has a personality to start with. So, of course, the game is going to give you the option of banging her like a squeaky door. Because, yeah. Sometimes there's just, yeah. Okay, so this door is now open. This is new and intriguing. Now, while it is saying press T to toggle the flashlight in the corner, it's not really necessary because, well, there's just... While it's dark-ish, it's not painfully dark. You can still see reasonably well. So let's see what we can find up here. This looks to be a pretty decent hidey hole, really. That's... I'm left-handed, so let's go in the opposite direction just to make sure. For reference, all of this stuff is probably going to be important in the near future to one degree or another, though I'm just going by the fact that you can actually explore and all that shit, so what the hell, right? And if we just nip back here, we will see that this door still works, yay, and the bathroom has nothing lootable in it, and this door is the one that's currently barricaded, so we had to go around this way anyway. It's kind of interesting just how many developers will go to the trouble of creating a binary choice like left or right, and it will 90% of the time, because 90% of people are right-handed, they will make the decision that going right is the right decision. It is not necessarily the smart decision, but at least it's there. Anyway, let's talk with Jennifer.
Nice view.
How did you find me?
Patrick told me.
It's my thinking spot. Is he worried?
No, he seems happy. How did you do on your first scavenger?
At first, he was excited just to be outside. Or a little too excited. Some drones spotted him. But I did it. I managed to protect him. Nothing happened. And from that point on, he understood how dangerous a scavenger's life can be.
See, you'll make a great scavenger team.
Yeah, I'm starting to see it that way. And because of that, I was thinking,
About leaving?
I don't have any secrets from you, do I? Yeah, about leaving. With Patrick.
So, I was spoiled on this before the previous stream, in episode 3 of this game, but I was told ahead of time that everyone who stays in the shelter is going to die. And this includes Jennifer here. Because, of course, well, Skynet is not quite as helpless about dealing with hacked spy satellites as Alvin might think. So with that in mind, you should leave. Because I like Jennifer, I don't want her to die.
I think you should leave.
What? Are you serious? I thought you'd be the last person to encourage me to go. What about what you said earlier? What changed?
Things are different. It's not safe here anymore, and I think you should go.
Jacob, I don't know what to say. You know that your opinion matters to me the most. To be honest, you're the only thing keeping me here. Oh. That's it then. I guess I'm going. You're always looking out for me. Thank you for that. I know you're moving out soon, but there's something I want to say. Regardless of what happens later, I hope that we'll find each other. Thank you for always being there for me. I'm lucky to have someone like you.
And this little tiny heart symbol right here is the game's way of saying, congratulations, you're getting your metaphorical dick wet. For the purposes of completionism, I am dealing with this happy horse shit. Just for you, because dear God, the character models in this game can be... no.
And I'm lucky to have you.
I hoped you'd say that.
on the one hand, at least the game is trying to avoid showing naked breasts and all. It's just not very good at actually evoking a response beyond punch-drunk laughter. I would laugh even harder, but I kind of don't want to ruin the mood even more than it's already been ruined.
You know what? I'll stay here just a little while. Tell Patrick not to worry. I'll be back soon.
Uh-huh. This game, ladies and gentlemen, it's a good game. It's an entertaining game. It's a fun game. It still has moments where you want to smack the developer. That's all. Anyway, let's see what we got.
You ready to move out?
No, not yet.
Okay, let's see. I probably have to nip down and talk to the kid first. So let's go do that. Yep, as you can see, his icon is swollen on the mini-map, so that means I actually have to go talk to Patrick. Well, not have to, but character resolutions and all that.
I found her. She's alright. She'll be back soon. Don't worry.
Thanks, Jacob.
Also, the kid's hair is supposed to be brown, but as you can see, due to the lighting engine this game uses, it can sometimes go completely bibbledy. I have to admit, in regards to the lighting engine of this game, it does a very good job of making the fires and various fire light look natural. That is not an easy thing to do in any measure of imagination.
You ready to move out?
I am.
All right. Let's do this. Years ago, the machines decided to wipe out all of humanity because they feared that we were a threat to their existence. Today, we make their fear come true. Sergeant Rivers, you were requested by John Connor to lead the Alpha team. You will be responsible for carrying out the attack on the location of Skynet's central core. We will create a diversion to lure out any HK aerials patrolling the area. That should give you some time to breathe. Taking out Skynet's ground forces, that's on you. Remember, the goal is to destroy Skynet's central core, at whatever cost. Good luck out there. Dismissed.
Team Alpha, Team Bravo. Skynet taking the bait. Good luck out there.
Alright, everyone. This is us. Let's move out. We're 2 minutes out from the observatory. As soon as we get past that barrier, expect Skynet to show up.
So, as you can see, one of the disadvantages of this game's budget being, well, for lack of a better term, shoestring, for most of the weapons, you don't really get much of a change of their appearance. For example, let's just look at the sniper rifle. I have had the red plasma version of the sniper rifle for a significant chunk of time, and the only difference between then and this new sniper rifle is that this one has a purple glow instead of a red glow. And when push comes to shove, it's not a extremely unpleasant decision because it's very much a case of just feeding it a different type of ammo and all that sort of rot, but it's still just, it's kind of depressing.
Stay focused.
Anyway, we have shit to kill.
Silverfish, 12 o'clock. Neutralized. Let's keep moving.
Killing silverfish. So much nicer when someone else does the hard work for me, right? The NPCs can eventually die. They are not immortal by any stretch of the imagination, but they are going to damn well try because now they have purple plasma guns. Which means they can do a whole bunch of damage to Skynet.
Nice shot. We're through.
Keep pushing forward. Medals. Good shooting.
So let's try this rifle, which is the one that I basically got custom built by Mac. Hits like a ton of bricks.
More incoming. Suppressing fire. Hang in there. Watch the flank.
Up that hill.
And there's one last Terminator left over here to loot, and onwards we go! Yay! Looty, looty, loot. Loot is the good thing. So as you can see, we are getting close to our objective. We still have a ways to go, but we're getting there. Proceed with the attack, indeed. So let's try out this thing. This sniper rifle is going to be stupidly overpowered because I kind of built it that way. So let's see what it can do, right?
Another infiltrator? No, he's with us.
Oh, it's the stranger. So, for just double checking, our offensive items here are the bigger grenades. They are embiggened. They will make bigger boom. That is a good thing. I am happy about that.
Took you a while. How did you know we were coming? I thought you'd know by now. I know more than you think. Better prepare yourself. It's quiet.
Someone said it. It was not me. I cannot be blamed for the inevitable carnage.
Spread out! Focus on that HK! They're coming from the west gate.
Minor problem.
T-47 destroyed! Ariel! It wasn't supposed to be here. Find a rocket launcher! Something's not right! Another one!
That Ariel is not having a good time because of me. I'm happy about that.
Ariel is going down! This is it.
Okay, well, this raises an interesting question. Why was everything here when we had worked our asses off to try and, well, keep everything out, you know? Instead, it seems like Skynet was waiting for us. This is a concern, a very large concern for a variety of reasons, but the long and short of it is that, well, let's put it this way. Time travel makes a fuck of everyone. Not just of me, but of you, of them, of everyone. Also, blowing up those containers is still satisfying as hell. Okay, so that looks clear. This looks clear. Forgot to hold the search button on that, and I just need to grab the materials from this, the wrecked T-47, and we are just about ready to continue. For absurdity, I now have 62 missiles to play with, with the missile launcher. This is slightly overkill, as you might expect, but I do not mind one bit. And onwards, because we know Skynet's going to try and fuck us.
Central core's downstairs. How do you know? I've been here before. I've seen it. Watch out!
So, T-850s, these are the chassis of infiltrators. You might also know the T-850 as basically, well, for lack of a better term, you might know it better as Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this one has a VSB-95 minigun. So let's take a look at that and compare it to our VSB-90. So let's see. Unlimited magazine size, continuous fire will temporarily overheat the weapon. Does more damage, same fire rate, better stability. It's just it holds shots to overheat instead of, well, not needing to, for lack of a better term, it requires you to overheat instead of reload every once in a while. I think I'll stick with reloading instead. It's just personal preference, even if the extra damage is worth it.
It's supposed to be right here. They knew we were coming. They moved it. It's a trap. A fucking trap. We have to move. Those missiles are headed this way. Wait!
Okay, what is this doofus doing?
We triggered the attack. It means that this place is still connected to Skynet's mainframe. If we trace where the signal's coming from, we'll know the Central Core's actual location. How could they know we were coming? When Skynet was about to lose the war, they sent an infiltrator back in time. We must have warned them about this attack. How do you know all this? Because I went back after that infiltrator. Yes!
And time to run.
Let's go. All of this will make sense to you soon, but right now we need to go. Watch out!
Oh, cutscene.
Commander, Central Core is not here. It was an ambush. Commander! Can't die here. Get up. Baron, I've got the coordinates. Can you hear me? Where the hell are you?
And we're back at the shelter. Who wants to bet things have fucked up? Because Baron's not responding, and she's usually a stickler about that sort of thing. We are getting embarrassingly close to the end game here, and I will actually continue the stream until I beat the game. So it shouldn't be much longer. Aww. Poor dead doggies. Poor dead doggies. Feel sad. Doggies. Well, that dead spider bot is still there. Still dead. quartermaster's dead. He was an absolute asshole that charged about 5 times the usual going rate for supplies, but at the same time he gave me plasma guns, so I'm not complaining too much about that. Oh, you have to go around the long way, looks like. Let's see what we can find. Oh, probably just more corpses. It doesn't look like anyone survived this, really. It's just very Terminator in its own way. See, at the end of the day, despite Skynet being an AI, despite Skynet being all omnicidal and all that shit, it's still intelligent, and that's what makes it dangerous. Because intelligence makes it want to win. It's going to cheat, it's going to do whatever it can, and at the end of the day, that's exactly what happened. There's basically nobody left from the resistance base here. And there's a skill book. Another plasma minigun if you don't have one. I do appreciate the mild visual amusement of Rivers just punting the gun out of his forehead.
Commander,
Rivers, you're alive.
what happened here?
An infiltrator got in. Brought lots of friends with him. We didn't stand a chance. Since they didn't go offline, I assume we did not destroy Skynet's central core either.
No, we didn't. It was an ambush. They moved it before we got there.
So this is it? We lost? We lost this goddamn war?
Not yet.
What do you mean?
I got the Central Core's real coordinates.
You have? I've got to learn not to doubt you anymore, Rivers.
We need to call Connor. He may still be able to stop Skynet.
Forget it. I couldn't get him on the radio for hours. You need to find him. You need to give him those coordinates.
First, let's get you out of here.
No. You don't have time for this. You have to leave me.
I can't.
You're not gonna disobey my final order, are you? Before you leave, I've got a confession to make. There's a reason I wasn't so keen on you. I met that list of people Skynet marked for termination. Although, I told you that you were number 3. The truth is you're number 2. Just the incoming. You took my spot. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why. But now I know. They're coming. You need to leave. Now, use a vent in the command room to sneak past them. And then find Connor and give him those coordinates. Don't worry about me. If they come here, just freeze them. I still have a couple magazines full of arguments. Now go. Good luck, Jacob.
Okay, time to murder everything. Woo! Just double checking, of course. Okay, that's a pretty good grenade. Well, there's his leg. Look at him undulate. Hi, Alvin. You know, you're an asshole, but I'm sorry you're dead. Huh. The fire has moved. It used to be right here. I appreciate the fact that you can use the crafting table in the middle of a fight for your life, because, of course. It's kind of silly when you think about it like that. What the hell, let's use it. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Fuck it, I'll just craft a full load of ammo. Problem solved, let's go. I was just running away. It didn't bother to stick around and fight me. You'd think it would. But onwards to the last area, the front lines.
The stranger died in that ambush trying to protect me. He came from the future to save my life, and I don't even know his identity. But thanks to his sacrifice, I managed to escape with the Central Core's true location. When I got back to the shelter, I realized that getting that information cost the life of many others as well. I headed out to find John Connor and his North Division to take part in the last all-out attack.
So here's a good question.
This is Sergeant Jacob Rivers, DN 46890. Anyone out there?
Specifically, the question is... Fuck. I forgot. Never mind. You see, this is an issue when you get older, like me, and I am not a young man anymore. I'm pushing 37. Actually, in just under a month, I will be hitting my 37th birthday. And at the end of the day, it's just, well, okay, I have to admit, some of the world design in this is actually pretty impressive, but at the end of the day, well, my age is catching up to me. I get impatient, and as a result of my impatience, I will start making mistakes. Some of these mistakes will probably cause me to spend more time, because, you know, it's just how it is, I suppose, but when it comes down to it, my childhood was spent watching movies like Terminator, Alien, Predator. That was a turret, I think. Or no, it was a spider bot. And when it comes down to push versus shove, there are very few film franchises that survived the 80s and 90s. And I feel bad about that because there's just so many that really do deserve to be given the respect they were due, you know? And Terminator is one of them. Terminator 1 was inspired by a literal fever dream from John Cameron, and the Terminator itself is essentially a metaphor for the sheer persistence and unstoppability of the human hunting drive. In essence, when we are the prey species and something human-shaped is also hunting you. And that's what made Terminator so scary. Terminator 2 actionizes that, but it's still pretty damn good. And the remaining Terminator movies generally, they're not absolutely crap-ass horrible, but they're not good either. In much the same way, Alien was originally billed as essentially Jaws in space, but it's also pretty much the... God damn it, Rivers.
Look, we got one. He's wearing a resistance uniform.
Who did you kill to get that, you filthy machine?
No, don't! Wait, he's human!
Idiots.
about that, Sergeant. The infiltrators took some of our key positions, so we're extra cautious. If we'd known that you were joining us in the North Division, that would have never happened.
You know who I am.
We all do, Sergeant Rivers. John Connor told us about you. He said you'd come and bring those coordinates.
How do they know I have them?
That you'll have to ask him yourself. He's waiting for you upstairs.
Anyway, back on the topic before I was so rudely whacked in the face by an overzealous grunt, I was talking about how the franchises have survived. Terminator has survived basically by cult following from the first two movies and going from there. And its expanded media has never really delved into the future war. The future war was always an interesting concept, and I mean, even this game shows that in many ways. But at the end of the day, my only real issue... Whoa, hello, miniguns. My only real gripe, I guess you'd say, about this is that at the end of the day, it's still slightly limited. The biggest gripe I actually have about this game, and it's a gripe that is honestly a legitimate gripe in my opinion, is singular. And that is listening to the gun shooty sounds of the plasma guns gets boring. There's only so much you can do with bangs and such, or pew pew pew, but when all your enemies go pew pew pew, and when all of your good weapons go pew pew pew, it gets numbing on the mind, you know? So, anyway, let's see what we have here.
Commander.
Sergeant Rivers, I've been expecting you. I took the liberty of collecting the Central Core's coordinates for this. I hope you don't mind.
Not at all. I would like to attack the core.
I've sent a unit to do that. We're getting ready to strike the time displacement equipment. Very soon Skynet will realize that they're losing this war, so they'll try to send infiltrators back in time to prevent that from happening.
Please stand a chance.
Thanks to the security codes that Mac provided, we've been able to seize control of an HK tank for the first time. It should give us the advantage against Skynet's defense grid. We'll smash it once and for all. I understand that all this might be confusing to you, so if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them.
How did you know that the Central Core wasn't at the observatory?
Understanding the changing nature of time travel made me anticipate the most unexpected events. So when I learned from a mutual friend of ours that a Terminator was sent back to our time, I suspected the future I was told would change.
What do you mean?
When that infiltrator connected to Skynet, it warned them about the attack on the observatory. They had to move the Central Core, otherwise they would lose again. Unfortunately, the intel we received came at a cost. If there was any other way, I would have taken it gladly.
Why am I targeted for termination?
You're the one who discovered the true location of the Central Core. You're the messenger of the intel that could lead to Skynet's downfall.
Who is the stranger?
In one alternative future, we reached the time displacement equipment and sent our soldiers back in time. Like always, the mission was to assure the safety of the people Skynet marked for termination. One of whom was you. Knowing the importance of your mission, many volunteered to go back. So I took it upon myself to choose a protector from among them. And the one I chose was you. You are the one you call a stranger. I'm sure
Shock.
you'll figure out
Gasp.
when the time comes. But right now, I want you to get ready. Tonight, soldier, we stop Skynet.
So, that's the big twist. The stranger happens to be Rivers. This is why the Stranger and Rivers share same voice actors.
Then we better get ready.
Anyway, onwards we go to the very last mission and all that sort of stuff. Let's blow shit up.
Take whatever you need, Sergeant.
Okay, rail plasma, plasma rifle, plasma minigun, more medkit, more plasma cells. As much as I like the guns, I don't need them. Nothing to craft. Should be good. Unless I'm somehow forgetting something. There we are.
Sergeant Rivers, it's time. I want you to take a team of my soldiers and fight your way to Skynet's defense grid. We have to destroy those turrets to get to the TDE. But don't worry. We'll provide the support. It's in your hands now, Rivers. Follow me.
Commander?
Commander.
Sergeant, we're waiting up ahead.
Well, let's see what we can do about saving the world by killing an AI.
The defense grid. I see it.
Ooh, that was a big pretty boom, wasn't it?
Watch the flanks! Drones!
There's more of them!
Commander, the first sector is secured.
All right, Rivers. Continue the offensive. Preparing to send in the tank.
A little bit of overkill, wasn't that? But that's okay. Overkill's the best type of kill.
Watch out!
Zero in on that T-47!
everyone else can push forward, I'm going to take a moment to stock up on ammo. It doesn't matter that I have a stupid amount of ammo, because I am fucking swimming in it. I'm still going to stock up anyway, because I have things to kill. Also because making things go boom is always fun.
Another sector cleared.
That's good to hear, Sergeant. The HK tank just went online. You've gotta keep going.
There is something cathartic about using a missile launcher against Terminators. Mostly because, honestly, what's left over when the Terminators are done blowing up is usually little tiny scrap bits, and that's entertaining to me. It just feels right, you know? Also, it's effectively tactical stress relief.
Perfect timing.
Well, that was perfect timing in regards to killing that aerial. I'm surprised that I didn't actually get to do it. But hey, free missiles, I'm not complaining.
T-47 ahead!
Two of them!
Sergeant, I got a visual on the defense grid turrets.
So, turns out that gun's stupidly overpowered. Damn, son.
Commander, the defense grid is active. We can't go through. No way, no how.
HK tank is on its way. Hold your position.
Aerial! Sergeant, we need backup.
Hang in there!
Watch out for that defense grid.
Pull back! Pull back!
The defense grid is smashed.
Rivers, status.
We breached the defense grid, Commander.
Good. NHK will accompany you. Proceed forward. Remember, this is not over yet.
For those who are wondering what the hell just happened, you're not alone. Turns out that not being able to see shit is kind of expected for some games.
That tank is ours!
And here is our buddy tank. He is our buddy. He will help us. He is the, well, only buddy we really have and the only buddy we need. For those of you with color blindness, I do apologize for the visual issues involved with the choice of the developers to have everything be red. While it is thematically appropriate to the classic Terminator ethos, it is not exactly healthy for people who have, well, various flavors of red color blindness, such as I know of at least one person in the Time Warriors Discord, Kaz, who has that issue, and too much red actually hurts to be around. So it's just something to take note of, and I do not think it is actually changeable in the options. So again, I do apologize for that, even though it's through plot.
They've located the central core. It was at the coordinates you gave. They'll strike soon. Continue with the offensive.
So, honestly, I really don't have to do anything from this point on in the game because I have a giant robot buddy right behind me shooting at things! Though, while I don't have to do anything, I still want to do things because, well, that's just the way things go, right? At this point, anything I grab is going to be well and truly redundant, so I'm not going to bother anymore.
Rivers, we just got a reading that Skynet's trying to activate time displacement equipment. They know they're going to lose this war. You need to hurry.
Everyone, on me!
And so, we've actually been told to hustle. I wonder why. Though, can we really be seen as running out of time in the middle of time travel? You know, we started the game like this. So, that's the big win for humanity. Skynet Central Core is disabled, or destroyed as the case may be. And our dear faceless protagonist here lives because of the efforts of someone you never meet.
Commander, what's going on?
The 124 destroyed the Central Core and stopped Skynet.
So is the war over?
For some of us, yes. But just before we destroyed the core, Skynet managed to send 3 Terminators back in time. The only thing in our power now is to send the Protectors to meet them.
Protectors?
The ones that will assure the safety of the people marked for termination. The first Protector has to be Sergeant Kyle Reese. He'll go after the T-800 that's targeting my mother as we speak. By killing him, Skynet will try to erase me from ever existing. The second one will seek to destroy the T-1000.
T-1000?
A Terminator made of mimetic polyalloy, sent back to kill me as a child. A single prototype, created by Skynet. It's too powerful for a single human being. That's why we'll have to send a Terminator of our own. Do you have that CPU that Mac reprogrammed?
I do. You want to send a Terminator to protect you and yourself? Won't you be a fool?
I will be. Then, there's the matter of the infiltrator that was sent after you. The war can end for you right now, but the question is, are you willing to sacrifice your future to protect your past? By being here, you've already proven that this is not beyond your capabilities. But I'll leave the decision up to you.
Will I be able to fix my past mistakes?
I always believe that the future's not set. There's no fate but what we make for ourselves. You do have the power to change it, and protect the ones you care about. So, what will it be then?
Well, I could bitch out, but not. I'm going back in time.
Let us begin then.
John Connor prepared the time displacement equipment to send protectors back in time. He knew that the final battle would not be fought here, but in the past. A resistance soldier named Kyle Reese was the first man to go back to 1984. His objective was to protect Sarah Connor, John's mother.
Terminator 1.
The second one was not a man, but a Terminator. Using the chip Dr. Mack reprogrammed, he took control of a single infiltrator unit, Cyberdyne Systems Model 101. It was sent back to 1995 to intercept the sole T-1000 prototype and protect a young John Connor.
Terminator 2.
I couldn't have someone risk their life to protect me. That's why I decided to go myself. It gave me a chance to right the wrongs of my actions. After 30 years, this war against the machines is finally over. But not all of us live to see the end of it. We never found Baron's body in the shelter. She never stopped fighting. And if she's still alive, I doubt she will. She was the leader we needed at the time. I'm not sure if she'll find a place in this time. I lied to Erin about her husband to make her leave the shelter. I saved her life.
Was it my place to intervene with her falsehood? Ryan was kicked out of the shelter because of me. I hope that one day they'll have a chance to explain it. Jennifer and Patrick left before the attack. I'm glad I convinced her to leave. I hope that our paths will cross sometime soon. Baron asked me to kill Matt, but I couldn't do it. He left soon after my warning, only to be captured by Skynet. We found him alive in one of Skynet's prisons. But as for me, it was time to start over. Listen to me, friend.
And that is Terminator Resistance. I want to thank you all for viewing this game with me. I want to thank you all for spending time with me. I apologize for not being able to respond to the stream commentary due to my single monitor setup, but, well, such is life, and I do warn people ahead of time about that sort of thing. And when it comes down to it, I have to admit, this game is a very good budget title. It's a little bit janky in some places, but that's okay. It is a game that will punish you if you're overconfident. It is a game that will reward you if you're the right level of brave and silly. And at the end of the day, I think that's what's most important. And I had fun with this game, and I think that most people who will have friends who have enjoyed the Terminator series of movies or the expanded universe, such as the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which was on TV, would enjoy this game. It is very solid. It is very thematic to the Terminator series. It is very thematic in music design, in world design, all that sort of stuff, and it's relatively rare to have a good, proper poke and prod at the, well, world of the future warfare. I will be doing one final stream of this game for the newly released Infiltrator mode, which has you playing as a Terminator itself, so that will happen in the future. Thank you very much for spending time with me. Thank you very much for watching the stream. Thank you very much for just being friends. I'm going to be exiting the credits and turning the game off in a few seconds, so take care of yourselves, and I hope you have a good evening.